Miss Claudine, ano po ba ang requirements ng bangko from the seller? Kung gagamitin ko yung property na binibili ko sa kanya um, as a collateral. I think this is what this our subscriber meant to say. So kung ikaw ay bibili ng property at gagamitin mo yung titulo ay yung property na binibili mo as a collateral, the process is you as a buyer first have to agree sa seller na yung magiging process is ganito. First, magsasign ka ng application form. Isasubmit mo ngayon yan dyan sa kahit anong bangko na napili mo. And then, they will also, first, yung bangko mag-assess muna sa property. So, dapat yung assessment form na yun, appraisal form, oo. So, yung appraisal form na yun, you will have to pay either from your own pocket or depende sa negotiation nyo sa seller. So, normally, buyer will have to shoulder yung appraisal fee kasi hindi mo yan siya magagamit unless hindi nila na-appraise. And also, doon sa appraisal, pag lumabas yung appraisal, sa appraisal lumalabas dun yung value ng property na kaya ng bangko i-offer. So normally, they will only offer 80% maximum, nothing more than that. So, ang requirements niya from seller is seller must sign yung appraisal value, appraisal form na nagpumapayag siya, nakalagay doon na pumapayag siya na ipa-assess yung property niya for collateral purposes ng kanyang buyer. So once na nasubmit niyo na yung appraisal form, the bank will then come and assess yung property itself as kung ano yung status. And then you will have to wait na kontakin ka ng bangko na ito yung value ng property, and then you as a buyer, so si bangko magdidepende siya kung whichever is higher, kung yung property value na binibili mo is kunyari maximum is 4 million. So 80% lang doon yung pwede nilang ibigay sa iyo. So the rest 20% you have to pay it from your own pocket. So what if, okay, lumabas na yung appraisal, di ba? Ng point. So ang kunyari, ang bentahan nyo is 4 million. So klaro na, ang ibibigay lang sa iyo ng bangko is 80%. So whatever that 80% ng 4 million, the rest of that, you will have to pay from your own pocket. So i-explain mo ngayon yan sa buyer. So for you to be able to get yung letter of guarantee, i-issue lang yan ni bangko kapag meron na kayong na-execute na deed of absolute sale. So normally, you have to explain that to the seller na yung letter of guarantee nakalagay doon na ginagarantisaduhan ng bangko na mababayaran siya ng 80% ng 4 million. However, dahil magta-transfer na kayo, hindi niya yun mai-encash unless na-transfer na yung title. So, yun yung kailangan na maging klaro on both the seller side and the buyer side. So, that's why it's so important na I have clients already that they have started buying property and they parang wala silang idea kung ano talaga yung kabuuan ng process, especially for bank financing, and they both oblivious, hindi nila alam yun talaga na ganun pala yung presyo, na kailangan palang ganun. Hindi rin nila alam kung anong ibig sabihin ng letter of guarantee. Kung tutuusin, I actually mention and share na sa dati kong previous video na when you're buying through bank financing, actually it's safe kasi yung pera na 80%, guaranteed na yun na matatanggap mo. Hindi na yun dadaan sa buyer. Ikaw lang ang makakapag-encash nun. However, in return, kailangan na transfer na din yung title. So, dun mo palang may encash yun. So, dapat yung 20%, if you're a seller, para sure na mababayaran ka, bago pa lang kayo mag-transfer ng title at mabibigyan na kayo ng LOG, ano na siya, bayaran mo na dapat yung 20%. or whatever, kung ano man yung i-deduct doon, kung depende sa agreement nyo. However, pwede din naman na, o sige, bilhin mo yung property ko, kung magkano yung ibibigay ng bangko, yun muna tatanggapin ko, and then you pay me the 20% later on. So, whichever, it has to be, kapag bumili ka, kailangan everything has to be written in black and white at klaro yung agreement nyo kasi madalas, ang ending, nag-aaway-away. Ang ending, nag-aaway yung buyer at seller kasi parehas hindi alam they're not fully educated. So that's why ikaw, as a buyer, especially kung you wanted to be a rental investor, gusto mo yung process ng buying, you have to first educate yourself because it's important na alam mo din yung proseso ng pagbili. Kasi iba yan iba yung proseso ng cash buyer, iba yung proseso ng bank financing. So, para yung expectation ng both sides ay klaro. So, anyway, going back to the situation, once na na-release na yung title, si seller, she can then go straight to the bank. She will have to show na yung title ay na-transfer na sa buyer. So, si seller, she will have, para ma-encash na yun, she have to show yung title na na-transfer na talaga sa buyer. So, si bangko will take that original title with the new name na owner, kung sino yung nag-bank loan. Ngayon, kukunin yan ni bangko and then they will bring it to the Register of Deeds for annotation. So, yun yung mangyayari. So, pag dinala nila sa Register of Deeds, lalagyan nila yun ng encumbrances. Nakalagay doon na yung may mortgage siya sa bangko until such, ganon. So, ganon yung process. So, ikaw as a seller, it's importante din na you know na bago mo tanggapin yung bank financing na offer, you are parang willing to supply all the documents needed, and I can guarantee you naman din na pag meron ka ng LOG, it means you are safe. It's okay to proceed to let the buyer proceed to transfer the title as long as kompleto yung agreement nyo in the beginning. Dapat naka-stipulate doon sa pipirmahan nyo na, sige, pumapayag na akong i-transfer sa'yo yung title, but you will have to pay me the 20% first. Kung ano man yung kulang doon sa babayaran ng bangko. So, ganon. Depende rin yan sa usapan nyo. Kung pumayag ka din na, yes, pumapayag ka na i-transfer that, but magkakaroon talaga kayo ng agreement, internal agreement, na yung natitirang 20% will be paid in a payment term, something like that. So, ganon. But importante, para makuha mo, para makapag-proceed kayo sa transfer at makuha mo yung LOG, dapat mag-execute na kayo ng deed of sale, and then para makakuha ka ng LOG, and then process na ng title. So, that's what the bank requires from the buyer. Kung ikaw ay from the seller, kung ikaw ay magbebenta and yung pumapayag ka na si seller ay si buyer is gagamit ng bank financing. So, I hope you guys get some idea, especially if you are a seller. And I know a lot of seller normally are first-time sellers, so it's important that you guys know also yung proseso, kasi importante. And same as you as buyer actually need to educate first yourself before buying properties. There are so many things that you need to know before you buy this a property. So, kailangan mong i-educate mo na yung sarili mo, and before you even go to that person and make some offer, you have to make sure, because you are buying an asset, hindi lang siya parang galunggong sa palengke. You're not paying very cheap amount of money. This will be your hard-earned money. So, it's important to get education. So, anyway, guys, this is what I do if I'm a property investor in the Philippines. I've been buying only, I'm buy and hold properties as for rental purposes. So I am also encouraging as many as Filipino as I could to teach them the proper way of buying and selling or investing. Whatever that you want to know in that involves of buying, selling, investing, feel free to email me. I offer consultation for very cheap amount of money, and I'll be happy to help you and guide you to get through to the process and get clarity before you get engaged into this kind of situation, because education is the most important thing. You have to get educated first. So thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to check my other videos. You'll be learning a lot as well on how I started investing in the Philippines. Rental investment is really, really a good investment for your future if you want to learn. But I highly suggest to get educated first for but if you decide to napasukin ang rental investment, first invest in your education first. Invest. Financial education, buying education, renting education. These are so important to know first before you get started, because you will save a lot of money rather than spending a lot of money. If you can get a coach or mentorship, which is I do as well, but it doesn't have to be me. You can also look for a successful investor in the Philippines who are willing to teach you. And of course, normally this kind of mentorship we charge, because what you're getting from us is already mitigating the risk. You're escaping, you're kind of like parang mapa-fast track na yung pag-i-invest mo, because we, including me, I say we because I've proven to myself that rental investment works for me, and I think it will work for you as well. So if you are looking to be financially independent in the Philippines, or replace your income and be financially independent, and want to go back to the Philippines if you are an OFW, education is the key, and rental investment is one of the most safest investment you could ever do, especially for your hard-earned money. So I encourage as many Filipino to get educated on rental investment. The opportunity is so big in the Philippines, so big. Let's get invested, let's get financially educated, and let's be an investor and live life to the fullest, and let's learn how to invest that hard earned money, especially if you're still young today. There's so many ways. I know there's a lot of different businesses that pops up, digitals, everything, but like, look, property investing, I guarantee you 100% is one of the most safest. You will benefit from rent increases, appreciations. There's so many ways. Yeah, like the property value, definitely. Inflation, of course, kung tumataas yung inflation, tumataas din yung value ng property mo, tumataas din yung renta mo. So, again, if you can learn how to invest rental apartment in the Philippines, it'll be the best thing you could ever do. Anyway, best of luck, and I see you on my next video. Bye-bye!